Hey, this is Tony Ross for TonyTeach.com and BigBlockBooks.com. And this is another continuation in our series of little informal get-togethers. We are about to launch a few products and training on how to create your own interactive books and apps without having to code anything. And we're using the awesome piece of software, PubCoder. And what I wanted to share with you today, we're going to just take a look a little bit more at the tech system that's in PubCoder. A little bit about myself. My name is Tony Ross, and I have been teaching pretty much, well, let's say a few decades, most of my life. And one of the things that I like to do is to find the simplest answer to a question, whether that's when I'm teaching animation, any type of visual or video effects. And now it's, of course, with working with ebooks. And when I found the product PubCoder, my partner and I, Chris Cartledge, we'd been working for about a year hand coding and trying to build a better children's ebook or interactive app. And we're in the process of looking for something that could do read out loud. And then I located the software PubCoder. And what I can tell you is the projects we are working on, we're looking at being able to do maybe work on creating 2 different books within a month's time. Looking at PubCoder, all of a sudden that became a matter of being able to do maybe 4 or 6, and it just depends on how quickly we can actually have the story and the art done, because we're no longer having to program to get things done. So that's a little backstory on what's going on. Other technical things. Hopefully this will go fine, and this is being recorded. We are having some technical difficulties, which have to replace a hard drive on my computer. So hopefully we'll be blessed that that does not have to happen right during the webinar. So what I want to show you is I'm going to go ahead and create a new document in PubCoder. So I'll just say new project. And I want to create a blank project. And I'm just going to call this, see if I can do a chapter book. Show you a couple of things that work here. So we'll click on next. I'm going to go ahead and work in an EPUB 3 format. This can automatically go to iBooks as well as things like Readium. And EPUB 3, I think, is probably my favorite because it's the least restrictive as far as different things that I can do. So I wanted to go ahead and set this up for 1024 by 768. And since I'm going to be doing mostly text, I want to make this upright. All right, and I'm going to choose English. I'll go ahead and click next. And I'll save this. All right, so if this is your first time taking a look at PubCoder, this is the interface. So we have all the different objects we can drop in here. And we have image, text, buttons, animation, ellipses, mask objects, image gallery, memory games, coloring games. For those of you who are really into the new coloring book thing, this is a kind of a drag and drop thing you can do. So what I want to work on right now is just do a little bit of placeholder text for the cover. Down here is the main area where I'm going to be entering all this. So I'll click on cover and I'll grab the text object and just drag out some text there. And I can just simply double click directly on here and it's going to open up my text window. So let's call this Tony Ross's Big Chapter Book. Okay. So from here, I'm just going to go ahead and select this. I think I want the size to be a lot larger. So I'll come over here. That's probably way too large. Let's see. Let's go 55. And of course, I can make that bold if I want. But this is a WYSIWYG. What you see is what you get. So you can start adding different things here. So we'll click on Apply Changes, and I'll go ahead and close this. And here it is on the main timeline. No, not timeline, but on the main window. Sorry, I'm talking like I'm in an animation program. Okay, so if I go to the next page, what I want to do, and again, this is kind of informal. I normally have a wingman with me right now. So if you're asking questions or things, I'm not noticing that, but I'll check in a second. What I want to do is go ahead and grab another text area here. I'm going to click and drag a larger one. And I'm going to jump over to my little area and grab some text here. This is one of my favorite things to mess around with is the Greeking machine, or the Duck Island Greek machine. Greeking, of course, is just gibberish and kind of talk that you would, or just text filling that you would use when you're working on something. And you can choose what language you would like it to be in. So I like working in Hillbilly. So I'm going to jump back over here to PubCoder, double click, and I'll go ahead and paste. And right now I can come here and just separate out a few paragraphs. All right. And for those of you who are more familiar with working with HTML and you'd rather code this out yourself, you can come over here and click on source code, and you can work within things right here. Okay. All right. I'll click Apply Changes. All right, so there is our book there. And what I want to do at this point is, I think I want to import a few images. So I'm just going to use just for some placeholder images. Instead of bringing something off my disk, I'm going to do import from internet. And I'm just going to drag some interesting little things from here. This is from the Creative Commons, the Noun project. So these are free images to use. And I think I'll use this one. I'll simply double click and then say import ping. Okay, I want to import another one. Let's double click on the house, import that ping. And last but not least, let's see if we can find one other weird one. Let's just do the heart. Okay, so we'll say we're done. And what I'm going to show you now is how I can even place images within this text here. So I'm going to simply double click. And I'll come up here. And if I want to say insert an image, if I look at the image list, it says none. Okay. And there's nowhere to import that, but I just imported these 3 images. So let me show you exactly what you would need to do. Let's close this out, close that window out. So I'm going to select all 3 of these guys here. And I'm going to right click and click on include asset in package. So that basically means when the full book is zipped up and ready to go out, what I mean by zip in a minute, but when the full EPUB is ready to go out, these images are going to be part of that. So if you're not familiar with it, like what an EPUB is or an ebook, actually it is just a folder and has HTML files, CSS files, all that information. So it's like a miniature website, which is why you can work in HTML. Now, it's not the full-blown HTML that's on the web, but especially with EPUB 3, you have things like HTML5 as well as JavaScript and a few other things. Now, the cool part, oh yeah, CSS definitely, cascading style sheets. Now, the cool part about that is if you are a illustrator or an author and everything I just said sounded completely Greek to you, the cool thing about PubCoder, you don't have to worry about any of that. There's a lot of stuff that's going on behind the scenes. So I'm going to go back to my text now. So I'll simply double click. Okay. And let's say if I want to place an image right up here at the top. So I'll click Insert Image. And when I click on the image list, hey, there it is. There's the heart. Okay. And if you notice, it fills in the source real quick for me. I'm just going to leave it just as is for now, and I'll just click OK. And that looks pretty large. Okay. So what I'm going to do while this is selected, I'm going to click on the style, and the style effect on was float left. So it's off to the left, and it moves all that text over to the right. Now, again, if I decided to select that and I click on, let's say, float right, it's on the right side. So that basically means, which I'm going to undo that real quick because I like it on the other side. The text is going to be bounced right up against there. All right. And one of the other things I want to do, let's see, grab my text again. Let's copy that. And paste. If you notice, it's actually just filling in that area nicely. So we'll click Apply Changes. And so there is our first little area here. All right. And I'm going to add another page here. Maybe, let's say, maybe 5 for now. So I'm going to click on this text on my first one here. Let's copy. And going to paste. And I'm just doing this just to give us something to work with here. So let's go into the third area here. I'm going to swap out the image. Okay. Click Apply Changes. All right, so there's our earlier one, and let's go back to this one, which is page 4. And we'll swap out this image. Make that the house. All right, and so we have that set up. And what I want to do now is start talking about different things we can do for setting up different sections of a of a book. A few things here. One, there's the overlay. And what the overlay does is if there's something you want to have on each page, for instance, if you wanted to have, let's say, the name of a chapter, I'm going to come in here. I'm going to make the overlay just over the cover. And if you note, by doing that, I had another overlay set up here. Let's say we've got some room there. So let's say for the overlay, I'm going to go to my object. And let's make some text at the top. And we'll call this Chapter 1 Beginning. Beginning of spell check. Spell check is actually ruining everything here. Did I write that right? Okay, I think I did that right. Cool, correct spelling automatically. I'm guessing I did okay. Why does that look wrong? Anyway, so let's say that's going to be our chapter. Maybe even underline it. And let's center that. We'll apply changes. We'll close it out. And again, this is in the overlay. So if I go to page 2, all of a sudden, let's zoom in here a little bit. You can see chapter 1, the beginning. And there is all of our information. And let's say that those first 2 pages represent chapter 1. Okay. So if we look at this other overlay, there's nothing happening there. So let's go to the original overlay. I'm just going to copy this, Command C, Control C on PC. And in the second overlay, we'll paste that, double click, and we'll say this is going to be chapter 2, The Waffle. Very odd book, but we'll work with it. Okay. So now if I look at pages 4 and 5, it's The Waffle for here. And pages 2 and 3, this is the overlay, and that's telling us that this is at the beginning. Now, the cool part about this is we can go to our text here on the very first page. And let's come down and we'll write he wanted a waffle. Highlight waffle. And I'm going to come up to the top and I'm going to insert a link. So if someone touches the word waffle, it'll take them to the waffle chapter. So I can link them to the page. So we know that's on 4. Text to display as waffle. Target. I'm going to put that on new, no, none, excuse me. We'll click OK. And I'll close this out. Whoops, let's apply those changes. And what I want to do is preview this book for a second. Let's see if I did this right. So instead of quick preview, right up here at the top, I can also do quick preview of the project. And let's see if this is going to let me do this okay. Okay, so there is chapter 1, the beginning. So I can go to the next page. And there's the other part. Chapter 2, the waffle. Okay, that looks good. All right, so let's go back here and see if our link works. And now we're in chapter 2, the waffle. Now, the links you can also do not just internally, but you can also do, let's say, for instance, if we're going to say, hey, if you want more books like this, or you want to learn how we put this book together, go to bigblockbooks.com. Well, that you can actually do at the same time. Let's say, matter of fact, let's do that. Shameless plug. A little Windows not generating here. Thank you. And so we'll say Big Block Books. So we'll turn this into a link, and instead of link to a page, none, URL, you do http://www.bigblockbooks.com. All right, and of course, I think we would probably want that in a new window. Okay. Now, it's going to be a weird little, we're not going to go to that now because I think right now what we have for bigblockbooks.com is actually pointing to this webinar. So it'd be a weird little mirror type thing. Actually, let's try it out anyway. Let's apply changes. I'm curious to see what that will look like. So let's go. We're just on this page right now, so I can just do a quick preview. The difference between doing a quick preview page and the project, if I just did the page, I would not be able to check the other pages in the book. It would just be this page. So I'm just going to do this page real quick and click to Big Block Books. And there is that page is actually going there. So we'll close that out. All right. So let's jump back over to PubCoder. All right. And one thing that you probably won't actually, hopefully won't run into when you're working on chapter books, hopefully you've gotten everything worked out before getting to this point. If you think, you know what, actually page 4 was supposed to be after page 5, you can always just click down here at the base and just move these over and switch them around that way. Okay. You can also come down here and change the label. Let's say we'll call this Waffle Hut. Okay, and so that way we know what the page is. Let's say if we know that we're going to be working on the Waffle Hut section here, or if that's where the Waffle Hut illustration is supposed to go. For instance, I work with, again, my partner who's the illustrator, Chris Cartledge, and normally I will rough out my little stick figures or whatever and have the site tell him the size that I need, send that over to him, and I can use my little stick figures as a placeholder, let's say for the Waffle Hut, and then I'll know once he's done with that, he can go ahead and send me that illustration and I'll update that image. Okay. Let's see. So we've worked with an image inside the text. One thing I haven't done, let me go ahead and grab that Greeking again. Let's grab a couple of these. Matter of fact, it's curious. Let's do Fairytale and ask for 2 paragraphs. Create output. All right, let's copy that. And again, this is just me having fun. If you're looking for this, I think it's duckisland.com/greekmachine.php. And again, it's kind of fun to just add stuff to. So I'm going to do a new page here. And let's bring this down so I can see this. And I want to click and drag out an image to go up top there. And then I would like to click and drag out some text to go right beneath it. Now, you see me just kind of clicking and dragging, just kind of not being very exact. Technically, it doesn't matter because I can come over here to the selection and I can alter this. I can say, okay, what if I wanted this to be, let's do an old measurement, 640 by 480. Now, these are pixels. This is not inches. And if you note, there's even these little smart guides, which are kind of cool. And you also have at the very top here, you can get everything aligned. So I'm going to go ahead and double click in my text box and let's drop in a little paragraph here. Apply changes. Let's see, what size did we do? I don't think we actually changed the size of our font here to read. So let's go a little bit larger than that. Okay. Apply, so just do 19. And let's say for the image, I want to import from a disk. Let's go find. Perfect little image there. And I've not saved lately. It's a good time to save. And so we have, you can just import the image and make it part of the actual text box, but you can also have a actual image file that's just sitting right here above, separate from the text box. All right. So those are just a few things that I wanted to share with you about this incredible piece of software. Again, it takes all the heavy lifting away. There's so much to do, but especially if you're just doing a chapter book and you're just dropping in images, if you have your images and your text ready, it's pretty much something you can knock out in a matter of hours. If you have a 6-year-old at home, maybe a weekend or something like that, maybe that's a little bit longer, just fair warning. Shout out to my lovely daughter, Izzy. But yeah, this is, again, every time I think that there's something that's like, oh yeah, it'd be cool if you guys added this to the software. I was like, oh wait, it's already there. That is too cool. There's some people that love to have page numbers added to books, some people who don't. I'm probably one of the people who doesn't use a page number, but oh, wait a minute, I forgot one major thing. Let's do, we have this first chapter at the beginning. So selected this page. So on the page, you need to come over here and say, hey, chapter starts there. Chapter name, what is it? The beginning. Okay. And if you look down here, we got that nice little bookmark there. And let's go here to 4. Chapter starts here. What is this? This is the waffle. Code name, the waffle. Okay, so you see that there are our little markers there. That looks pretty good. Let's say, let's go back here to the beginning. And let's edit that link. Just check out something real quick here. Ah, look, there's our little Waffle Hut where we actually text when we change the name of the page. It actually knows to go to Waffle Hut. That's kind of cool. All right. So there you have it. I had asked the lovely people over at PubCoder. I said, well, how large can you make the book? Is this just for like a children's book thing, or? And it's pretty much like, of course, the more pages you add, um, the more pages, the more images you add, more sound, different things like that. You're worried about. You probably need to be more concerned with the file size. I think I was told that there was someone who's actually done a book that had 500 pages dealing with PubCoder. So there is that. Words. What did we forget about? Fonts. Let's see. Let's select this area here, the font family. What font family is this? We can change. We can do Book Antica, Courier New, Trebuchet, Verdana, or we can even add fonts. Okay, and these are the Google Fonts directory, which is built into the system. So it's kind of cool. You can come in here and then select a font you want to use. Let's do something that'll be obvious. We'll say import. And we'll say close. So if I select, whoops, let's undo that. Let's revert the changes. Thank you. All right, so let's select that text there. And I'll come in here and make it this really weird looking text. And I probably want to change the size because it's really hard to read. Okay, and there is me dragging part of my image URL there. Okay, so that's better. So you can go in and please, unless you're trying to make it very difficult for people to read, try not to use that font to read from. But you can go in and change out your font, fun stuff like that. Okay, that's a little better. Even then, that's kind of weird looking. So you can change your font. You can also import fonts. Maybe you've actually made your own font with your handwriting or something like that. You can bring it in. So it's lots of fun things you can do with this. So we'll apply the changes. So that's another little sneak peek into things. If you haven't already, be sure to sign up for Big Block Books' newsletter, because we are about to announce any day the full blown training that we're going to be doing. We're still chiseling away and making it pretty awesome. Everyone from beginners to even people who actually do know a little more code. We are going to be showing some advanced things as well. So I think the next hangout we're going to be doing, I'm giving a shout out right now to all of my comic book buddies. We're going to show you different things you can do with a comic book in PubCoder and how you can really take things to that next level. If you've been only printing books, or if you're only just using still images for an ebook, I want to show you some tricks that you could do with PubCoder. So this has been Tony Ross. Oh, wait, before I say bye, let me make sure I'm not missing out any questions or anything like that. Let's see. I think we are good. So yeah, this has been Tony Ross for TonyTeach.com and BigBlockBooks.com. So remember, keep it simple, make it perfect. If you don't have time to make it perfect, rethink the idea. Have a good one.